What's going on, guys? Christopher Journals, Comics and Pop Culture here. So it's been almost a month after Star Wars: The Last Jedi came out in theaters after I saw it, and yes, we're still talking about it. I gotta admit, myself, I've been dwelling on this almost obsessively. So I heard yesterday there's been all this talk and through interviews and publications from Rian Johnson having to constantly defend this film. But he did an interview that was published yesterday where he talked about his idea of going into this film and his original concept sitting down with Kathleen Kennedy. I'm going to read you some of this interview here and what he states, and I'm going to explain why I just continue to find his statements alarming, to say the least. So this is what he states. Rian Johnson says that he's discussing, after speaking with Kathleen Kennedy, that the second movie is more of a training film. So I said that would be my approach to it. It's a very character-based approach where we just start with each one of these characters we care about and figure out what the hardest next step is for each of them. And he continues to go on about how this film is heavily character-based. Let me tell you the problem I have with this. If we look at our main protagonists and just all the main characters in general that were introduced to us in The Force Awakens, if this is such a character-driven film, why is it that when this film, The Last Jedi, ends, we still have very little more developed for each character? We are sitting in almost the same place we are with them that we were at the end of The Last Jedi. So it's very contradictory to what he says is this is a very character-based film. This is a very character-based film in the sense of them adding a bunch of new characters that had really nothing to do with the actual plot at hand, such as Rose and DJ, that basically worked their own little spin-off story in the middle of the 8th episode of a universe that had 7 films before it. So it's kind of alarming to me that it seems that Rian Johnson's ego continues to, spew out in backing where he was going with this movie with things that it just doesn't seem right. If this is a very character-driven film, why don't we know more about Rey and why she is the way she is? All we found out about Rey is that, well, she still has a bunch of powers that can, use a lightsaber like a Jedi Master that has worked years and trained for. But we had no questions answered to who she is, what she is, and what her purpose is. And same with Kylo. The movie teases as if we are going to dig more into Kylo. We do get the fact that he has a chance to kill his mother and he doesn't. So we do find a little bit more about there is this humanity that is within Kylo, and we get a little bit of backstory with him from Luke, but to me it was very surface. There was no depth to it. At least there was no depth explained. Of course, we can assume. There's very little to the how and the why behind it. And I think this was what was missing through this movie, the how and the why to explaining these things. So Rian Johnson continues to, explain why this happened, why this was. There's a reason for it. And one thing that is really alarming to me is there was I believe it was an Instagram post that he posted with a little piece of paper saying, "Your fan theory sucks." And it's almost as if it's very egotistical to me. And it's almost as if you are narcissistically mocking the people that you're making a film for. I'm sorry, but that's bad taste in here. I'm gonna, for those of you who might be watching this and be like, you know what, I really enjoyed the film. You're just a hater. I'm going to tell you guys, I've been having over a month to process all this. There was actually a lot of good elements within this movie that if you pick them apart, did add to the whole mythos, the whole deep mythology and spirituality of the Star Wars universe, of the spirituality within it, of who the Jedi are, and even where Luke Skywalker is. You know, a lot of people with their issues of how they handled Luke Skywalker, I wasn't necessarily upset with the way they handled him, like where he was. I just wanted more depth and explanation to the why, the how and the why. And there was like little pieces thrown out within this movie, but it wasn't explained. So when they kill him off, you're left feeling kind of numb and really? That's why for me, it wasn't fulfilling. But let me explain to you. And I think this kind of dives into the bigger question of what's wrong with modern filmmaking. If you guys really focus on the Luke and Rey storyline, and even parts of, you know, the Kylo and Snoke, you dive into these questions of what we know about the Jedi, about the Force. And it becomes very, very fulfilling to process within your head where these can go. There's so many things. And I'm not going to be one of those haters that say it's not connected to the 7 previous films. It really is. But the problem of why we're not really gravitating to that is because I believe in modern filmmaking, and what Rian Johnson did with this movie was the soul of the film was convoluted by all of this other stuff for entertainment purposes. And again, what we could perceive to be entertaining doesn't necessarily mean it's good storytelling. So the whole Canto Bite, the forced humor and banter, the new characters that really had no place because Disney wants spin-offs, and we already know that DJ has his own comic book, and Holdo has her own huge backstory in a junior novel. And then, of course, all the action. All the action. So all these things really convoluted the real heart and soul of the story. And another thing that I think is problematic is it's done purposefully, because what I found in this movie was that the heart of the story was merely used as Easter eggs. And I think this whole idea of Easter eggs in films is becoming utterly ridiculous. Because if you look at certain symbols, certain tokens and images that were on the island where Luke was, and I'm not gonna give them away. I want you guys to think about it and see if you can remember. The story in the heart of the plot should not be merely Easter eggs. The director of the film shouldn't have to be coming out literally like every day explaining something else about the movie and why it happened. We don't want all the answers in a film, especially when it's a trilogy and we have another film that's going to answer, hopefully, all of the questions. But we need something there. We need building blocks to build upon to where we get to that next climax. And we didn't get that, and now we're having to fish it out through Easter eggs. That's not what Easter eggs are supposed to be for. And I think modern filmmaking, and within this day and age and this generation of moviegoers, we somehow are clinging to Easter eggs and to all these surface, elements that really take away from telling a cohesive story. So, with that being said, I just wanted to say that I really am at a point where I'm trying within myself to focus on the good that is there in this movie, and I want you all to try to find that. Go back and try to find these things. But at the same time, I am not going to stray from the fact that I think Rian Johnson went into this and fault Disney and Lucasfilms as well with no direction. And not even caring what came before, with what JJ set up, and his extreme ego just got in the way of it being better than it could. He had the elements to really make this film work for everyone. So that's my take on where we're at. I'm sure we're going to hear more from Ryan himself, within the next few days or weeks or who knows, he may be giving out reasons and excuses to why this happened and that happened until the next movie comes out. We don't know. But let me know what you guys think. I know, like I said, I'm still obsessing over this movie. I'm sure a lot of you guys are still pondering, what is this movie? What was it about? And why do I feel this way still? So leave your comments. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy what you saw and you're not subscribed yet, please do so. For those new subscribers, I will be doing a 500 subscriber giveaway when I reach that 500 subscriber milestone, which I hope isn't going to be too far away. So thank you guys so much for watching. Till next time.